As we continue our coronavirus coverage here in Connecticut, we're talking to mayors throughout several towns and cities in our state. This morning, joining us on the phone, the mayor of West Hartford, Mayor Shari Cantor, is joining us to talk about what's happening in town. Mayor, thanks so much for taking the time to talk to us. We know you're very busy. Just wanted to sort of recap the latest cases in West Hartford. 267 cases and unfortunately 41 deaths, a lot of sick and unfortunately a lot of sadness there in town. How is everybody dealing with? How is the town coping?
Oh, good morning, Erica. These are really unprecedented times and incredibly challenging. We're doing all we can to support people and make sure that we do our best to protect each other as residents, but also protect our first responders and our healthcare workers by physical distancing and wearing masks and, hand washing and doing all the things to mitigate the spread of this insidious virus.
Mm-hmm. Can you update us on yesterday's testing event? How did that go?
Sure. So we have a private urgent care company that opened up in town in January. They took the space of another urgent care, and they approached us about a drive-through event. And we were very excited to have the ability to test not only people that have had current symptoms, but also essential workers with no symptoms and that had concerns that they've been exposed, which is the first time that I've really heard the accessibility of that kind of testing. And I actually was at the event yesterday, and there were about 100 people, they think, that drove through. It was very well organized. People had appointments. It went very smoothly. The results will be provided. They partner with Quest Labs between 1 and 3 days, hopefully within the 24-hour, 30-hour time frame. And I did bump into some people that are essential workers and not residents of West Hartford, but work and serve our residents and are keeping our economy going obviously in a very compromised way, but allowing us to live, with some quality of life. And I'm so glad that we are able to provide this. So Physician One had this event. They will continue to provide testing. They said they have the capacity of about 40 a day. So that increases our testing capacity quite a bit. We have there are a couple other urgent care labs that are working to get registered with CPH. So hopefully we'll have more online as well that we can talk about soon. So more testing is really important to figure out how to help to mitigate the spread and make sure that people are self-isolating.
Absolutely, absolutely. Those testing events are so critical. Now, contact tracing is now being done in West Hartford. Share with us how that's been going so far.
Yeah, so actually, our health department, our director, Amy Krause, has been very forward-thinking, and she's been doing this since the beginning, really. I mean, many of the cases that first were identified in West Hartford probably were related to travel. And then contact. So what happened, our health department actually employs our non-public school employees, nurses, I'm sorry. So there's 11 non-public schools. We have 11 private schools in town and non-public school nurses. And so she employed them to do the really labor-intensive contact tracing, which is when somebody tests positive, you call them and you try to trace all of their contacts and then contact the people that they've had direct contact with. Unfortunately, those people didn't have the ability to test unless they were very sick, in the last 5 weeks, 6 weeks ago. But that's getting better, and hopefully now when somebody knows that they've had an exposure, they can get a test. So that is really helpful. And again, if you have somebody either in your house or outside of your house that you've been within 6 feet, been exposed to, it's really important to let them know so they can then either get tested, self-isolate, whatever they can do to mitigate the spread. But that is critical, and it's almost exponential if you look at it on a chart. If you say, that person is positive, they've contacted this many people, and then these people contacted these many people, it just mushrooms. So it's really critical for us to get back to have this contact tracing in conjunction with accessible increased testing and rapid testing wherever possible.
Absolutely. It is so critical. Glad to hear that is happening there, and also glad to hear about those testing events that are happening as well. Mayor Cantor, thanks so much for being with us.